fellow dancers, you know, dances are made of all kinds of different movements. Sometimes the movements are very codified. There are particular steps that we learn, a tendu or a pirouette in ballet, a paradiddle and tap. There are particular steps that can be passed on and shared with one another, other dancers, and through the years, because they have been determined to be a particular movement in a particular way, and they're codified as such. There's also a lot of dances that are made from different patterns and playing with different movements put together and the patterns that you can create with those movements. There are also movements that are not only set in advance, but movements that are just improvised. They happen in the moment. The dancers create them. They become part of the dance of the moment. Dance is ephemeral. It happens, and then it's gone after the movement takes place. So we're going to play with a little improvisation today. This is a great thing to do as a warm-up for yourself. First thing in the morning, as you wake up and get out of bed, we've talked about doing that little fold over, putting your legs over the side of the bed, folding over, and just allowing yourself the chance to have your back open both forward and side to side. There's all kinds of wonderful movements to do just as you wake up. Improvisation warm-ups are great to do early in the morning as you're starting your day, or the good news is they're great anytime. Any time of the day or night, improvisation is fantastic. So I'm just going to pop some music on and just give you some cues, and we're going to guide our way through. You do not need to match my movement. I'm improvising as you are. So I don't know what my movement's going to be in a moment, and this isn't a time for you to have to try to match me. This is really a time for you to find for yourself what feels good to you, what feels challenging, what you want to try out, what a particular part of a musical phrase brings to mind, or what a cue, verbal cue brings to mind. So play around with it. There is no wrong way to move in this improvisation. So here we go. Oh, just start with a nice full deep breath in. Release it as you're ready. Bring your hands to your sides, just kind of gently wrapped at your rib case, and take a nice breath in. Feel that expansion through the ribs. Let your breath go and let them re-knit. So they get larger on the inhale, they expand outward, they release as you exhale and come back together. Try it one more time. And let it go as you're ready. Nice. Just before we begin to move a bit more, as you're comfortable in your chair, in your seat, give yourself a slight little rock side to side, so you're kind of moving across your sits bones. Check to see that your feet are in parallel and feel comfortable on the floor with your knees over your ankles. Shoulders are relaxed. Rather than creeping up towards your ears, just invite them back downward. Let the front of your body just be wide and open. Beautiful, nice. So from where you are, just start to smooth something. Maybe it's a sheet that you're smoothing on a bed. Maybe it's icing on a cake that you want to smooth in a particular way. Maybe it's stirring in a large bowl that you want to smooth the batter. Whatever that smoothness is, and try it with both hands or arms. You might even try doing a little smoothing with your feet. The sand below your feet has gotten a little up in swirls and twirls, and you want to just kind of smooth it out a little bit. So get a little smoothing. See how you want to smooth. And from that smoothness, just move into something that's very choppy. Very choppy. It might be waves on the water. It might be turbulence in an airplane as you're flying through a summer storm. Just see where your choppiness is. Could be through heels, could be through hands. just a little choppiness, and move from that choppiness into something that you can cut. Might be fairly easy to cut. Maybe it's a piece of paper and you can cut with scissors. Maybe it's something that you need to cut with a knife and it takes a little more effort and movement. Might be something that you're cutting with an axe and it really takes a force. So see how you want to cut. Try something with both hands or both arms. That cutting movement. Shift from that cutting to just mixing something up, stirring it up. Maybe it's a whisk that you have in some batter and you want to make sure everything gets all mixed up. Maybe it's a great stirring in a huge cauldron pot and you need to stir it all the way around. Make sure that everything gets equal attention. So from that stirring movement, just shift to a movement that contains a line. Something that moves. It could be a straight linear line. It might bend or fold. It might have an angle in the line. Could be a line through the leg, through the foot, through the arm. A line. How is it going to travel, that line? Does it stay straight and forward? Does it have a little diagonal shift to it? What's happening with that line? Does the line move from one side across to the other? What's happening with your line? And from that line, move into something that's really rounded and curled. Something that has a smooth, curvilinear movement to it. Might be something that's part of the game. It might be a tetherball going around a pole. Something that's rounded, curved. Might be swooping down a ski slope. See what your curve becomes. And from all that curving, roundedness, just scoop something up. Maybe you're just scooping some ice cream. Maybe you're scooping some watermelon. Maybe you're scooping a whole pile of laundry that needs to get done. See how you want to swoop and scoop. And from there, just try scattering. Scattering, maybe you're scattering leaves from a big pile. Maybe you're scattering bird seed in the morning, a little bit here, a little bit there. And from that scattering, just pull something that takes a little bit of energy. It doesn't come too easily. You've got to pull it from one direction to one starting place to another. So feel that energy, feel that strength as you pull on this thing. Does it take both hands? Does it take a rope that's one hand below the other? What is it that you're pulling? Is it a windowsill that's a little bit stuck and you really need to shake it to get it able to move down from that pulling? So give that little pull. And from there, just move into a little tossing. Lots of confetti. It's very celebratory. Big tosses. It's been a beautiful celebration, a wedding, an anniversary, a graduation, a happy to see you event. Just toss, toss, toss. And from there, move into something that you think of that is just magical. Just has some quality of magic about it. You might not even be exactly sure what it is, but there's something magical in the process. And from all that magic, take a moment or two to do a little stargazing. And just look upward. Maybe it's behind you. Maybe it's above. Could be at your side. A particular constellation that's very visible in the sky tonight. or the rising of a gorgeous big full moon. You're just sky gazing, stargazing, seeing what you can see when the slightest breeze just wafts past you. You just feel happy acceptance of that breeze. And from there, you actually just move into floating. That breeze just carries you in a way that you don't have to think about your weight at all. Maybe an arm lifts, maybe an elbow, a knee, a foot. It's so easy to move. You're just floating through the space or floating on the water. No effort at all, just to float, float. And from all that floating, you become very curious. And you just want to try to figure something out. What is it that's going on? What did you notice about that? What did you see? When that thing happened, what happened next? What are you curious about in that moment? And from all that curiosity, let's just finish with something that is just sparkling. Could be the rhinestones on your shoes. Could be the sparkles of the night sky. It could be the sparkling of banners floating across the air. Something that is just sparkling, sparkling, sparkling. And you just are surrounded by that sense of sparkle, lift. And from there, let your sparkles just make their way downward, downward, downward. Find a nice, stable, comfortable place in your seat, in your chair. Take another nice deep breath in. Release as you're ready. Give a nice shoulder roll. Give yourself all the time you'd like to move forward, upward, backward, downward. Try shifting and giving that shoulder circle in the other direction. See what feels really good to you. Let both arms float their way up and release their way down. Float their way up, release their way down, and last time, up they come, down they go. And here's to being happily warmed up. See you next time.